Welcome to the deep dive. So imagine sacrificing your life savings, achieving this massive philanthropic success, and then realizing your actual net worth to the world is zero.
Wow, yeah, that is a rough thought.
It really is. Today, we're looking at a stack of sources that suggest doing the right thing for the wrong reason isn't just like slightly flawed. It makes your actions entirely meaningless. So, okay, let's unpack this. Building a legacy of good works without love is basically like building a skyscraper out of decorative drywall.
Right, I mean, it looks incredible on the skyline. But without a load-bearing foundation, the first major storm just causes the whole thing to collapse under its own weight.
Exactly.
And that lack of structural integrity, it perfectly aligns with the context set by the Apostle Paul in his first letter to the Corinthians, specifically chapter 13. The text sets up a pretty brutal standard, honestly. Yeah, it argues that you could possess prophetic powers or understand all mysteries or have the faith to literally remove mountains. You could even deliver your own body to be burned. But absent love, you are just a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal.
But wait, if you were building a well or, I don't know, feeding a community, does the internal structural rot actually matter right now? Like, the hungry still get fed, right? Even if the person feeding them is driven entirely by ego.
Yeah, I hear you. Does the world really care about the foundation if the drywall is keeping the rain off?
Right.
Well, what's fascinating here is how Paul actually anticipates that exact defense. He doesn't treat love as some vague emotion, He gives it a rigid 15-point operational framework.
Wait, 15 points. That is super specific.
That's very specific. And there's a brilliant structural split in that text. 7 of those traits are active, like doing good things, being patient, being kind, rejoicing with the truth. But a heavy 8 traits are preventative.
Meaning they are explicitly about what you do not do?
Exactly. So the do-nots act as a psychological guardrail. You don't envy, you don't boast, act arrogantly, or insist on your own way.
Ah, I see. Because if you are feeding the hungry, but you're resentful or rude about it, well, it's really only a matter of time before you start exploiting the very people you claim to help.
Spot on. The outward action temporarily masks the fact that the internal motive has shifted from serving others to, well, serving your own savior complex.
Yeah.
Without those 8 defensive guardrails, love just does not exist.
It's just ambition at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Which perfectly explains the trajectory of that massive international nonprofit scandal mentioned in our notes.
Right. I mean, this wasn't a case of cartoon villains at all. It was an organization that genuinely started out helping children in Africa.
But because they lack that internal check of not insisting on their own way, the drywall cracked. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we see the exact anatomy of how an outward good just decays.
Yeah, they started strong with the active traits, right?
Yeah.
The tangible charity.
Right, but over time, their love for the organization's growth and ultimately the money completely surpassed their love for the children. Ambition masqueraded as love.
Wow. So when the whistleblower exposed the massive internal embezzlement, it wasn't just a sudden moral failing. It was the inevitable collapse of that skyscraper.
Precisely. Human nature defaults to self-preservation and greed when that foundational check against arrogance just isn't there.
Makes sense. By ignoring those preventative traits, their philanthropy basically morphed into a criminal enterprise.
Yeah, they essentially began to rejoice at wrongdoing. And the result was that longtime donors felt deeply betrayed and just pulled their funding. The charity couldn't survive the storm because the foundation of genuine love was entirely hollow.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I mean, we might not be running international nonprofits, but we're all leading families, working in teams, or serving our local communities.
For sure. The challenge is identifying where you might be doing the right thing, but your internal framework is buckling.
Like, are you prioritizing your own reputation and your own advantage over genuine patience and kindness? It requires a pretty ruthless self-audit.
It absolutely does. And here is one final question to leave you with today. If every visible good deed, every outward act of generosity, and every impressive achievement you have were suddenly erased tomorrow, would the people in your life still feel loved by you, based entirely on who you are when there's nothing left to show off?